The police knocked on my door at 11 p.m. and said, "Ma'am, your daughter reported you missing. She said you have dementia and wandered off." I was standing there in my pajamas, in my own house, where I'd lived for 40 years. "I'm not missing. I'm right here." The officer looked confused. "She filed a report 6 hours ago. Said you were endangered." I invited them in. Showed them my medication, all taken correctly, organized perfectly. My calendar, appointments, activities, book club. My recent tax returns I'd filed myself. The officer said, "Ma'am, you seem fine to me." I said, "Call my daughter. Put her on speaker." They did. She answered, "Did you find her?" The officer said, "We're at her house. She's fine." Long silence. Then my daughter said, "Oh, she must have had a lucid moment." I took the phone. "I don't have dementia. You filed a false report so you could declare me incompetent. I found the conservatorship papers you left in my mailbox." She hung up. I pressed charges. False police report. Attempted fraud. She thought I was too old to notice. Before we continue, this fictionalized case study is based on documented conservatorship abuse cases involving adult children exploiting elderly parents. According to the National Center on Elder Abuse, approximately 1.6 million older Americans are under guardianship or conservatorship, with family members responsible for 90% of financial exploitation cases. This examines how false incompetency claims are used as elder abuse tactics and your legal rights to maintain independence. Now let me tell you my story. The knock on my door came at 11 o'clock on a Tuesday night. I was in my pajamas sitting in my living room reading a mystery novel. The house was quiet except for the sound of rain pattering against the windows. I wasn't expecting anyone. My book club wasn't until Thursday. My doctor's appointment wasn't until next week. The knock came again, louder this time. Authoritative. I set down my book and walked to the door, peering through the peephole. 2 police officers stood on my porch, their uniforms dark and wet from the rain. My heart jumped. Had something happened to Raymond? To my granddaughter? I opened the door. "Yes. What's wrong?" The male officer, a black man in his 40s with kind eyes, spoke first. "Ma'am, are you Diane Foster?" "Yes. It's happened. Is my son okay?" "Your son is fine. Ma'am, your daughter Vanessa Williams filed a missing person report. She said you have dementia and wandered off from home approximately 6 hours ago." I stared at him, not understanding. "I'm sorry, what?" The female officer, an Asian woman about the same age, stepped forward. "Your daughter reported you missing at 5 o'clock this evening. She said you have severe dementia and that you left your house and she couldn't find you. She said you were endangered." I looked down at myself. Pajamas. Slippers. Standing in the doorway of my own house. I'm not missing. I'm right here. In my house. Where I've lived for 40 years. The officers exchanged confused glances. "Ma'am, when did you get home?" the male officer asked. "I didn't go anywhere. I've been home all day. I had lunch around noon, worked in my garden in the afternoon, made dinner at 6, and I've been reading since 8. The female officer pulled out a notepad. "Your daughter called 911 at 5:15. She said you'd been missing since noon and she'd been searching for you for hours." "That's impossible. I was here at noon. I was here at 5. I've been here all evening." "Ma'am, do you have dementia?" the male officer asked gently. "No. I'm 73 years old and sharp as I've ever been. Would you mind if we came inside? Just to verify everything's okay." I stepped back, opening the door wider. "Please do. I'll show you I'm perfectly fine." They came in, wiping their feet carefully on my welcome mat. I could see them taking in the house. Clean, organized, well-maintained. Photos on the walls. Books on the shelves. Everything in its place. "This is my medication organizer," I said, walking to the kitchen counter. "All my prescriptions. Organized by day and time. Morning, noon, evening. You can see I've taken today's doses correctly." I opened the organizer to show them. Every compartment for Tuesday was empty. Wednesday's doses were still in place, ready for tomorrow. "Here's my calendar." I pointed to the large calendar on my refrigerator, covered in neat handwriting. "Doctor appointment next Monday. Book club Thursday evening. Volunteer shift at the library Wednesday afternoon." Does this look like someone who's confused? The male officer, his name tag read Mitchell, studied the calendar. No ma'am. It doesn't. And here. I pulled a folder from the drawer. My tax returns from this year. Filed them myself. No help needed. No accountant. I've been managing my own finances for 50 years. Officer Mitchell looked at his partner. Officer Chin, that's what her name tag said, looked equally confused. Ma'am, you seem perfectly fine to us, Officer Chin said carefully. That's because I am fine. My daughter is lying. Why would she lie about this? I walked to my desk in the corner and pulled out a large envelope. Because of these. I handed the envelope to Officer Mitchell. He pulled out the papers inside and started reading. His eyes widened. This is a conservatorship petition, he said slowly. Filed by Vanessa Foster Williams. Requesting the court appoint her as conservator over Diane Foster due to severe dementia and inability to manage personal affairs. Filed 3 days ago, I said. Hearing scheduled for 2 weeks from now. She left the papers in my mailbox yesterday. I think she wanted me to see them to scare me. But she miscalculated. Ma'am, do you have dementia? Officer Chin asked again. No. Call my daughter. Put her on speaker. I want to hear what she says when you tell her you found me. The officers looked at each other. Then Officer Chin pulled out her phone. What's her number? I gave it to her. She dialed and put the phone on speaker. It rang twice before Vanessa answered. Hello? Did you find her? Is she okay? Her voice was breathless, concerned. Oscar-worthy performance. Ms. Williams, this is Officer Chin with the Chicago Police Department. We're at your mother's house at 4827 South Kenwood Avenue. She's fine. She's been home all evening. Silence. Long telling silence. Then, oh thank God. She must be having a lucid moment. She has dementia, you know. She gets confused. Forgets things. I've been so worried. I took the phone from Officer Chen's hand. I don't have dementia, Vanessa. Mom. Her voice changed, got sharper. You're confused. I'm not confused. I found the conservatorship papers you left in my mailbox yesterday. Sharp intake of breath. You're trying to have me declared incompetent so you can control my assets. My house. My savings. Everything. That's not. Mom, you're being paranoid. You filed a false police report. That's a crime, Vanessa. I was worried about you. You weren't answering your phone. I was reading. My phone was on silent. You could have called multiple times or come to the house. Instead you called 911 and lied to them. Said I had dementia. Said I'd been missing for 6 hours. All lies. Mom, you need help. You're not thinking clearly. I'm thinking perfectly clearly. And I'm pressing charges. I hung up. Officer Mitchell was writing in his notepad. Ma'am, we're going to note in our report that we found you at home, clearly competent, not missing or endangered. Your daughter's report was inaccurate. It was fraudulent, I corrected. She lied to create a false record that would support her conservatorship petition. She wants to make it look like I'm confused and wander off. Officer Chin looked at the conservatorship papers again. These claim you have severe dementia, can't remember to eat, leave the stove on, get lost regularly. All lies. I don't have dementia. I manage my life perfectly well. Would you like to file a complaint against your daughter for filing a false police report? Yes. Tomorrow. First thing. After the officers left, I sat on my couch, hands shaking. Not from fear. From rage. My own daughter. Trying to have me declared incompetent. Filing false police reports. Lying to authorities. All to steal my independence and control my money. I picked up my phone and called my son Raymond in Atlanta. He answered on the second ring. Mom? It's late, is everything okay? No. Your sister just tried to have me declared incompetent. The next morning I called Patricia Sanders, an elder law attorney whose name I'd gotten from my friend Helen at the library. Patricia's office was downtown in a modern building with glass walls and minimalist furniture. She was a black woman in her late 50s with sharp, intelligent eyes and natural hair cut close to her head. Tell me everything, she said as I sat down across from her desk. I told her about the police showing up at 11 p.m. About the conservatorship papers. About Vanessa's pattern of behavior over the past 6 months that suddenly made terrible sense. Patricia listened without interrupting, taking notes on a legal pad. When I finished, she looked up at me with undisguised anger. This is conservatorship abuse. It's more common than people realize, and it's one of the cruelest forms of elder exploitation. What exactly is conservatorship? It's a legal arrangement where a court determines that someone, usually an elderly or disabled person, can't manage their own affairs. The court then appoints someone else, called a conservator, to make decisions for them. What kind of decisions? Everything. Where you live. What medical care you receive. How your money is spent. You can see. A conservator has almost complete control over your life. The magnitude of what Vanessa had tried to do hit me fully. She wanted to control everything. Yes. And based on this petition, she was going for full conservatorship, both financial and personal. That means she'd control not just your money, but every aspect of your life. Can she just get conservatorship because she filed papers? No. She has to prove to a judge that you're actually incompetent. That you can't manage your own affairs and need someone else to do it for you. But I'm not incompetent. I can see that. But she's trying to build a false case. The missing person report was part of it. How? Patricia pulled out the conservatorship petition and pointed to a section. She claims here that you regularly get lost and wander away from home, requiring police intervention to locate you. The missing person report creates a documented incident that seems to support that claim. But it was fake. I was home the whole time. I know. But on paper it looks like the police had to do a welfare check because you were reported missing. If you didn't have proof you were home and competent, it would support her case. I felt cold. She planned this. Yes. And she's probably been planning it for months. Tell me about her behavior lately. I thought back over the past 6 months. She's been asking about my house constantly. How much it's worth. Whether I'd thought about selling. Telling me it's too big for one person. What else? She asks about my savings. My retirement accounts. She's very interested in my finances. Has she been spreading rumors about your mental state? I paused. Yes. She tells people I'm getting forgetful. That I'm not as sharp as I used to be. My friend Margaret mentioned it to me last month. Said Vanessa told her I was declining. Has she been testing you? Testing me. Calling to ask you what day it is. What year. Who the president is. Like she's checking your memory. I felt sick. Yes. She calls at random times and asks things like, do you remember what we talked about yesterday? Or, do you know what day it is? I thought she was just being annoying. But she was building a case. Patricia nodded grimly. Classic pattern. She creates a narrative that you're incompetent, spreads it to family and friends, creates evidence through false reports, then files for conservatorship claiming it's for your own good. What do? We fight back. First, we get you evaluated by a neuropsychologist to document that you're completely competent. Second, we gather evidence showing you manage your life independently. Third, we press criminal charges for the false police report. And fourth, we show up at that conservatorship hearing and destroy her case. 2 days later, I sat in the office of Dr. Marcus Thompson, a neuropsychologist Patricia had recommended. Dr. Thompson was a distinguished black man in his early 60s with gray hair and a kind but professional manner. Mrs. Foster, I understand you're here because your daughter filed for conservatorship claiming you have dementia. Yes. But I don't have dementia. She's lying. That's what we're here to determine. I'm going to conduct a comprehensive evaluation of your cognitive function. This will take several hours. Are you ready? Absolutely. The testing was exhaustive. He started with memory test. He'd read me a list of words and ask me to repeat them back immediately. Then he'd ask me to recall them 5 minutes later, then 15 minutes later. Apple, table, penny, river, sunset. I repeated them all back perfectly. 5 minutes later, apple, table, penny, river, sunset. 15 minutes later, same. He tested my reasoning with puzzles and pattern recognition. Showed me sequences of shapes and asked me to identify what came next. He tested my judgment with hypothetical scenarios. If you smell smoke in your house, what do you do? If you can't remember if you took your medication, what do you do? He tested my knowledge of current events. Who is the president? Who is the vice president? What major news story is happening right now? He tested my understanding of my own life. What's your address? What year were you born? Tell me about your career. Tell me about your family. After 3 hours, he put down his clipboard and looked at me with what I thought was respect. Mrs. Foster, your cognitive function is excellent. Well above average for your age group. Relief washed over me. So I don't have dementia. Not even close. Your memory is sharp. Your reasoning is intact. Your judgment is sound. You show absolutely no signs of dementia, confusion, or cognitive impairment. Can you put that in a report? I'll have a comprehensive written report ready tomorrow. It will state clearly that you are fully competent to manage your own affairs and make your own decisions. While Dr. Thompson prepared his report, Patricia helped me gather more evidence of my competence. We compiled bank statements from the past year showing I managed my finances perfectly. No missed payments, no errors, clearly organized. We got a letter from my primary care physician, Dr. Sarah Henderson, stating I had no dementia diagnosis and was in good health for my age. We collected letters from friends attesting to my mental sharpness. Helen from the library. Margaret from book club. My neighbor Tom. We documented my volunteer schedule. I worked at the library 3 days a week, helping with the computer lab and teaching digital literacy to other seniors. Hardly something a person with dementia could do. We took photos of my home showing it was clean, organized, well-maintained. We gathered my tax returns, which I'd filed myself for years. We compiled emails and text messages showing clear, coherent communication. Patricia also investigated Vanessa's finances. What she found explained everything. Your daughter is in serious financial trouble, Patricia told me in her office a week later. Her real estate business is failing. She has $89,000 in credit card debt across multiple cards. She's 3 months behind on her mortgage. She filed for bankruptcy protection last year. I had no idea. She's been hiding it. But she's desperate. And your assets? How much does she think I have? Based on public records, she knows your house is worth about $450,000. She probably estimates your savings at a few $100,000. Total assets close to $800,000. I felt sick. So she wants conservatorship so she can control my money and use it to save herself. Exactly. As your conservator, she'd have legal authority to sell your house, access your accounts, make financial decisions. She could drain everything and there'd be nothing you could do about it. Because I'd legally be incompetent. Correct. Well, she picked the wrong mother to mess with. Before the conservatorship hearing, I called a family meeting. My son Raymond flew in from Atlanta. I told him everything over the phone and he was furious. We met at my house. Me, Raymond, Vanessa, and her husband Marcus. Vanessa looked nervous when she arrived. She knew I knew about the false police report. Raymond didn't even let her sit down before he started. You tried to have Mom declared incompetent. Filed for conservatorship. What the hell is wrong with you? Vanessa put on her concerned face. Raymond, I'm worried about her. She is getting forgetful. I'm trying to help. I cut her off. I'm not forgetful, Vanessa. You're lying. I placed Dr. Thompson's report on the coffee table. This is a comprehensive neuropsychological evaluation. Conducted by Dr. Marcus Thompson, one of the leading experts in geriatric cognitive assessment. It says my cognitive function is excellent. No signs of dementia whatsoever. Vanessa barely glanced at it. One test doesn't mean anything. You have good days and bad days. Name one bad day. Give me a specific example of a time I was confused or forgetful. She opened her mouth. Closed it. Opened it again. Nothing. Marcus, her husband, tried to help. Remember last month when you forgot about dinner at our house? I didn't forget. I canceled 2 days in advance because I had book club. I called Vanessa and told her I couldn't make it. She said it was fine. Raymond looked at Vanessa. Is that true? Vanessa looked away. Why did you file a missing person report? Raymond pressed. When Mom was home the entire time? I thought she was missing. I was worried. You didn't even call her first. You went straight to 911 and said she had severe dementia and had been missing for 6 hours. I tried to call. Phone records show you didn't, I said quietly. The police checked. No calls from you to me that day. Silence. You filed a false report to create evidence, I continued. So you could point to it in court and say, see, she gets confused and wanders off. She needs conservatorship. That's ridiculous. is it? Because that's exactly what your petition says. That I regularly get lost and require police intervention. But the only police intervention was for a false report you filed. Raymond looked like he wanted to explode. Why would you do this? I'm trying to protect her. From what? From managing her own life? From living independently? From having control over her own money? She needs help. I don't need help, I said firmly. And if I did, I'd ask for it. But I'm perfectly capable of managing my own affairs. I'm pressing criminal charges, I added. For filing a false police report. For attempted fraud. For elder abuse. Vanessa stood up. You're being paranoid and vindictive. I'm being protective of my rights. You tried to steal my independence. My autonomy. My life. That's not paranoia. That's reality. You're my mother. I'd never hurt you. You already did. They left. Vanessa was crying. Marcus looked angry. Raymond stayed. I'm sorry, Mom. I should have seen what she was doing. You live in Atlanta. You didn't know. Still, she's my sister. I should have. This isn't your fault. It's hers. And she's going to face consequences. The next day I went to the police station with Patricia. We met with Detective Sarah Williams from the Financial Crimes Unit. She was a black woman in her mid-40s with tired eyes that suggested she'd seen too many families destroy each other over money. Mrs. Foster, tell me what happened. I told her everything. The false missing person report. The conservatorship petition. Vanessa's pattern of spreading lies about my competence. Detective Williams took notes and nodded grimly. This is elder abuse. Financial exploitation. We see it too often. Adult children trying to take control of their parents' assets. What are the charges? Filing a false police report is a misdemeanor. But attempted conservatorship fraud, lying to a court to gain control over someone's assets, that's a felony. Combined with the elder abuse statute, your daughter is looking at serious charges. She interviewed Vanessa the next day. I wasn't there, but Patricia told me what happened. Vanessa claimed she genuinely believed I was missing and in danger. Then why didn't you call her first? Detective Williams had asked. I tried. She didn't answer. Phone records show no calls from you to your mother that day. I must have forgotten to dial. I was so worried. So you were worried enough to call 911 and file a missing person report, but you forgot to actually call your mother first? Vanessa had no good answer. Detective Williams also checked Vanessa's story that I regularly get lost and wander. If your mother regularly gets lost, where are the other police reports? The other incidents? I usually find her before it gets that bad. So the only documented incident of her being lost is a false report you filed. And when police found her, she was at home, fully competent, clearly not missing. Detective Williams also discovered something else. Vanessa had called my bank 2 weeks before filing the conservatorship petition. She'd claimed she had power of attorney over me and tried to get information about my accounts. The bank had refused because I'd never signed a power of attorney. Your daughter has been planning this for a while, Detective Williams told me. Building a case. Creating false evidence. This wasn't a sudden concern. This was a calculated scheme. 2 weeks after the false missing person report, the conservatorship hearing took place. I walked into the courtroom with Patricia, feeling nervous but determined. The judge was Honorable Ruth Martinez, a Latina woman in her 60s with kind eyes but a no-nonsense demeanor. Vanessa sat on the other side with her attorney, a young man who looked fresh out of law school. He presented Vanessa's case first. Your Honor, Diane Foster is 73 years old and suffering from severe dementia. She can't manage her basic needs. She forgets to eat, leaves the stove on, gets lost regularly. She recently went missing for hours, requiring police intervention. He presented the conservatorship petition with all its lies. Ms. Williams is her daughter who has been caring for her and is now seeking legal authority to ensure Mrs. Foster receives proper care. Then Patricia stood up. Your Honor, every claim in that petition is false. Diane Foster does not have dementia. She is fully competent. And her daughter knows this. The conservatorship petition is an attempt at financial exploitation, not genuine concern. She presented Dr. Thompson's evaluation. This comprehensive neuropsychological assessment, conducted by Dr. Marcus Thompson, shows Mrs. Foster has excellent cognitive function. No signs of dementia whatsoever. She presented Dr. Henderson's letter. Mrs. Foster's primary care physician confirms she has no dementia diagnosis and is in excellent health. She presented my bank statements. Mrs. Foster manages her finances perfectly. No missed payments, no errors, clearly organized accounts. She presented letters from my friends, photos of my organized home, my volunteer schedule, my tax returns. This is not a woman who needs conservatorship. This is a woman living independently and competently. Judge Martinez listened carefully, reviewing each document. Then she asked to speak to me directly. Mrs. Foster, please approach. I walked to the witness stand, my heart pounding. Mrs. Foster, what's today's date? November 1st, 2024. Friday. Who is the President of the United States? I answered correctly. Can you explain your financial situation to me? I did. Clearly and in detail. My savings, my retirement accounts, my house value, my monthly budget, how I manage everything myself. Tell me about this missing person report. My daughter filed a false report claiming I was missing and had dementia. But I was home all evening. The officers who responded can confirm. I was at my house, perfectly fine, not confused or endangered. Why would your daughter file a false report? To create evidence supporting this conservatorship petition. She claimed I regularly get lost, but the only documented incident is a false report she filed herself. Judge Martinez reviewed the police report from that night. The officers had noted, subject found at home, fully competent, clearly not missing or endangered. Appears daughter filed false report. The judge looked at Vanessa's attorney. Do you have any actual evidence that Mrs. Foster is incompetent? Medical records? Witness testimony? Documentation of actual confusion or inability to function? Your Honor, the missing person report is contradicted by the police who responded and found her completely fine. What else? Witness statements from Ms. Williams about her mother's declining condition. Contradicted by medical evaluations, bank records, and statements from multiple witnesses attesting to her competence. What else? The attorney had nothing. Judge Martinez delivered her ruling. Petition for conservatorship is denied. Mrs. Foster is clearly competent. She manages her affairs independently and successfully. She has strong cognitive function documented by medical professionals. This appears to be an attempt at exploitation rather than genuine concern for Mrs. Foster's welfare. She looked at Vanessa with undisguised disapproval. Ms. Williams, if you truly cared about your mother's well-being, you would have spoken to her doctors, sought legitimate help and respected her autonomy. Instead, you filed false reports and lied to this court. That is reprehensible. Vanessa was crying. But I felt nothing but relief. My independence was safe. 3 months later, Vanessa's criminal trial began. The charges were serious. Filing a false police report, attempted fraud, elder abuse. I sat in the courtroom every day watching the prosecution dismantle Vanessa's lies. They presented phone records showing she never called me before filing the missing person report. They played body camera footage from officers Mitchell and Chen's welfare check. The footage clearly showed me, competent, articulate, obviously not missing or confused. They played the 911 recording of Vanessa's call. My mother has severe dementia. She's been missing for 6 hours. I'm afraid she's in danger. All lies. They presented the conservatorship petition filed days before the false report, showing premeditation. They showed bank records of Vanessa's failed attempt to access my accounts by claiming she had power of attorney. They documented Vanessa's massive debts and financial desperation. And they presented text messages between Vanessa and Marcus that made my stomach turn. Vanessa to Marcus, once I get conservatorship, we can sell her house and use the money to pay off our debt. Marcus to Vanessa, how much is the house worth? Vanessa, at least $450,000. Plus she has savings. We're talking close to $800,000 total. Marcus, this could save us. Vanessa, I know. I just need to convince the court she can't manage on her own. The text showed the entire scheme. Vanessa and Marcus had planned it together. I testified about the pattern of Vanessa's behavior over the previous months. The constant questions testing my memory. The rumors she spread about my declining mental state. The false report designed to manufacture evidence. Officers Mitchell and Chin testified. When we arrived at Mrs. Foster's home, she was clearly competent, Officer Mitchell said. She was coherent, organized, not confused in any way. She showed us her medication, her calendar, her tax returns. There was no indication whatsoever that she had dementia or was incapable of caring for herself. Dr. Thompson testified. I conducted a comprehensive neuropsychological evaluation of Mrs. Foster. Her cognitive function is excellent. She shows no signs of dementia, memory impairment, or cognitive decline. She is fully capable of managing her own affairs. The evidence was overwhelming. Vanessa's attorney tried to claim she'd been genuinely worried about me, that she'd made an honest mistake. But the prosecution destroyed that argument. If Ms. Williams was genuinely worried, why didn't she call her mother first before filing a police report? Why didn't she consult with her mother's doctors? Why did she file for conservatorship claiming her mother regularly gets lost, when there was no documentation of that ever happening? This wasn't concern. This was a calculated scheme to gain control of her mother's assets. Vanessa took the stand in her own defense. It was a disaster. I thought Mom was missing. I was worried. But you never called her? I assumed she wouldn't answer because she was confused. You assumed? Or you wanted to create a false record? I was genuinely concerned about her. Concerned enough to spread rumors about her having dementia? Concerned enough to try to access her bank accounts without authorization? Concerned enough to plan how you'd spend her money once you got conservatorship? The prosecutor showed her the text messages with Marcus. Vanessa had no defense. The jury deliberated for 4 hours. Guilty on all counts. 1 month later came sentencing. I gave my victim impact statement, standing before Judge Raymond Cole. My daughter tried to have me declared incompetent. She filed false police reports. She lied to courts, to police, to family members. She did this not out of concern for my welfare but out of greed. She wanted control of my money, my house, my life. She tried to take away my independence, my dignity, my autonomy. She tried to make the world believe I was incapable of managing my own affairs when I'm perfectly capable. She treated me like I was already gone. Like I was too old to notice what she was doing. Like I wouldn't fight back. I want consequences. Not for revenge, but to send a message that elder abuse has serious repercussions. To protect other elderly people from adult children who see them as ATMs instead of parents. Judge Cole delivered the sentence. Ms. Williams, you exploited your position as your mother's daughter to attempt a cruel fraud. You filed false police reports. You lied to this court. You spread false rumors about your mother's mental capacity. You attempted to gain legal control over her life for your own financial benefit. This was not a momentary lapse in judgment. This was calculated, premeditated exploitation of a vulnerable senior, your own mother. On the charge of filing a false police report, 6 months in county jail. On attempted fraud, 18 months in state prison to run consecutively. On elder abuse, 2 years in state prison consecutive. Total sentence, 4 years in the Illinois Department of Corrections. Additionally, you will pay restitution of $25,000 to Mrs. Foster for her legal fees. And upon your release, there will be a 5-year restraining order prohibiting any contact with your mother. Vanessa broke down crying, begging for mercy. But Judge Cole was finished. You showed no mercy to your mother when you tried to steal her independence. You will receive none from this court. After the trial, Raymond stayed in Chicago for 2 weeks helping me put legal protections in place. We updated all my legal documents, created an advance directive explicitly naming Raymond, not Vanessa, for medical decisions if I ever became unable to make them myself. Created a durable power of attorney that would only activate if I became truly incompetent with Raymond as agent. Filed a deed fraud alert with the county, so no one could file documents affecting my house without direct verification from me. Updated my will to explicitly exclude Vanessa. Due to her criminal conviction for attempted conservatorship fraud and elder abuse, I intentionally leave nothing to my daughter Vanessa Foster Williams. Set up regular check-ins. Raymond would call me 3 times a week. If I ever missed 2 calls in a row without explanation, he'd fly to Chicago immediately. arranged for annual competency evaluations to document my continued mental acuity. If anyone ever tried to claim I was declining, I'd have recent proof otherwise. Thank you for believing me, I told Raymond as we finished signing the last documents. Of course I believed you, Mom. You're the sharpest person I know. Vanessa almost succeeded. But she didn't. Because you fought back. Because you documented everything. Because you refused to be a victim. I raised her. Where did I go wrong? You didn't go wrong. She made her choices. Bad choices. But that's on her, not you. 6 months after the trial, I got a call from the Chicago Elder Rights Coalition. They'd heard about my case and wanted me to speak at senior centers about conservatorship abuse. We need people like you, the director told me. People who fought back successfully. Who can teach others how to protect themselves. So I started speaking. Once a month, I'd go to a different senior center or community group and tell my story. My name is Diane Foster. 5 years ago, my daughter tried to have me declared incompetent so she could control my assets. She filed a false missing person report to make me look confused. She spread rumors that I had dementia. She filed conservatorship papers claiming I couldn't manage my own affairs. She thought I was too old to fight back. She was wrong. I taught them the warning signs. Family members spreading rumors about your mental capacity. Repeated questions testing your memory like they're building a case. False reports to police or adult protective services. Surprise legal filings for guardianship or conservatorship. Family members suddenly very interested in your assets. Being told you need help when you're managing fine on your own. If you see these patterns, act immediately, I told them. Get documented evaluations proving your competence. Gather evidence of your independent functioning. Consult an elder law attorney. Don't wait until papers are filed. At every presentation, people would come up afterward with their own stories. An 80-year-old man whose son kept asking him if he knew what day it was, like he was testing him. A 75-year-old woman whose daughter-in-law was telling everyone she was declining, even though her doctor said she was fine. A 70-year-old man whose daughter had taken his car keys claiming he wasn't safe to drive, even though he'd had no accidents and his doctor cleared him. You gave me courage, one woman told me. My daughter's been pressuring me to sign over my house. Said I'm too old to manage it. But I'm not. And now I know I don't have to. You showed me I'm not powerless, another said. Vanessa served 3 years of her 4-year sentence, getting early release for good behavior. She tried to contact me from prison multiple times. Letters. Phone calls that I refused. Raymond said she was sorry. That she'd made a mistake. She's sorry she got caught, I said. Not sorry for what she tried to do. Marcus divorced her while she was in prison, not wanting to be associated with her conviction. He got custody of their daughter, my granddaughter Kayla, who was 16 when everything happened. I maintained a relationship with Kayla. She wasn't responsible for her mother's crimes. Why did Mom do it? Kayla asked me once. Greed. Desperation. She lost sight of what matters. I'm so sorry, Grandma. You have nothing to be sorry for, sweetheart. This wasn't your fault. When Vanessa was released after 3 years, she tried to reconnect. She showed up at my house one day. I saw her through the window and didn't answer the door. She left a note. Mom, please. I'm sorry. Can we talk? I'm your daughter. I threw the note away. She called from a new number. I answered before I realized it was her. Mom, please don't hang up. I need to talk to you. There's nothing to talk about. I made a terrible mistake. I'm sorry. Can you forgive me? You tried to steal my life, Vanessa. My independence. My dignity. My autonomy. You filed false police reports. You lied to courts. You planned to drain my bank accounts. I was desperate. So you tried to have me declared incompetent. Do you understand what that means? If you'd succeeded, I would have lost control over every aspect of my life. Where I lived. What I ate. Who I saw. Everything. And you would have sold my house, taken my savings, and left me with nothing. I wouldn't have. The text messages say otherwise. You and Marcus planned exactly how you'd spend my money once you got conservatorship. Silence. You treated me like I was already dead. Like I was too senile to notice what you were doing. Mom, I'm your daughter. And I'm your mother. And you betrayed me in the worst possible way. There's no coming back from that. I hung up and blocked the number. Raymond asked me if I felt bad about it. No. She didn't apologize because she realized what she did was wrong. She apologized because she wants something, probably money. Again. She's still your daughter. And she's still a convicted felon who tried to steal my life. Being family doesn't erase that. 5 years after the false missing person report, I'm still living independently. I'm 78 years old now. Still in my house that I've owned for 45 years. Still volunteering at the library 3 days a week. Still attending book club on Thursdays. Still managing all my own affairs. My house is protected with every legal safeguard, Patricia, I could think of. My advance directives are clear and specific. My competency is documented annually. Raymond visits once a month, calls 3 times a week. We have a close relationship built on trust and respect. I haven't spoken to Vanessa in 5 years. According to Raymond, she's remarried and living in Indiana. I hope she's learned something, but I don't think about her much. This Tuesday evening, I'm at a senior center in downtown Chicago giving my presentation on conservatorship abuse. The room is packed, about 50 elderly people and some of their adult children. I stand at the front and tell my story. I'm Diane Foster. 5 years ago, my daughter tried to have me declared incompetent so she could control my assets worth nearly $800,000. She filed a false missing person report claiming I had dementia and had wandered off. But I was home, in my pajamas, reading a book. She thought I was too old to fight back. She was wrong. I explained how I proved my competence, how I pressed charges, how Vanessa was convicted and sentenced to 4 years in prison. I'm telling you this not for sympathy, but to show you that elder abuse happens in good families. By people who are supposed to love you. And that you have rights. You have power. You can fight back. I teach them how to protect themselves. Get regular competency evaluations documented by medical professionals. Keep evidence of your independent functioning. Organized home, managed finances, active social life. Be wary of family members who spread rumors about your mental capacity or test your memory repeatedly. Know that you can't be declared incompetent without a court process where you have the right to an attorney and to present evidence. Create advance directives and powers of attorney carefully, with clear limitations and oversight. Trust your instincts. Something feels wrong, investigate. After the presentation, an elderly woman raises her hand. My son keeps asking me if I remember things. Like he's testing me. He asks what day it is. What year. What I had for breakfast. Is that a warning sign? Yes, I say firmly. He's building a case. Document your competence now before he tries something. Get evaluated. Keep records. Protect yourself. Another person asks, can my daughter really get conservatorship just by filing papers? No. She has to prove to a judge that you're actually incompetent. That's a high bar. But you need to be prepared to fight if she tries. A man in the back. What if I actually do need help sometimes? With bills or appointments? Does that mean I should agree to conservatorship? Absolutely not. There are many ways to get help without giving up your legal rights. You can have someone assist you while you maintain control. Conservatorship should be a last resort, not a first option. After the presentation, multiple people come up to thank me. You gave me courage to stand up to my family. You showed me I have rights. You proved that being elderly doesn't mean being powerless. I drive home feeling fulfilled. I turn my attempted exploitation into advocacy. My pain into purpose. I learned 3 critical lessons from what happened. Lessons that might save someone else from conservatorship abuse. First, I learned the warning signs that family members are building a false incompetency case against you, and why you must act immediately when you spot them. The patterns were there for months before Vanessa filed for conservatorship. She constantly asked about my house value and savings. She spread rumors to family and friends that I was getting forgetful, even though I wasn't. She called repeatedly asking memory testing questions. What day is it? Do you remember what we talked about? Did you take your medication? She was creating a false narrative of incompetence so that when she filed conservatorship papers, people would say, "Oh yes, I've heard Diane is declining." According to the National Center on Elder Abuse, these are classic warning signs of conservatorship abuse. Family members spreading rumors about your mental capacity without medical basis. Repeated questions testing your memory like they're documenting your responses. Family members expressing excessive interest in your assets and their value. Surprise legal filings for guardianship or conservatorship you didn't agree to. False reports to police or adult protective services to create evidence of incompetence. Being told you need help when you're managing fine independently. Family members telling others you have dementia when you don't. Pressure to sign power of attorney or other legal documents quickly. If you see these patterns, don't wait. Act immediately. Get a comprehensive competency evaluation from a neuropsychologist. Document that you're mentally sharp. This creates evidence that contradicts false claims. Keep records of your independent functioning. Bank statements showing you manage money well. Tax returns you file yourself. Organized home. Active social calendar. These prove you're capable. Consult an elder law attorney before papers are filed. They can help you protect yourself proactively. Don't dismiss your instincts. If family behavior feels manipulative or predatory, trust that feeling and investigate. Second, I learned how conservatorship abuse works and what legal protections exist against it, and why understanding your rights is essential. Before this happened, I didn't fully understand conservatorship. I thought it was something that only happened to people with severe dementia or disabilities. I was wrong. Conservatorship can be pursued by anyone who files the paperwork, and if you don't know how to fight it, you can lose. Here's what I learned. Conservatorship gives another person complete legal control over your life. Where you live. What medical care you receive. How your money is spent. You can see everything. Family members can file for conservatorship claiming you're incompetent. They submit a petition to the court with evidence of your alleged inability to function. But, and this is critical, you have rights in that process. You have the right to an attorney. You have the right to contest the petition. You have the right to present evidence of your competence. The petitioner has the burden of proof. They must prove you're actually incompetent. The judge won't just rubber stamp conservatorship. They'll evaluate the evidence. Many elderly people don't know this. They think if family files papers, it's done. But that's not true. You can fight back with medical evaluations showing you're competent. Evidence of independent functioning, bank statements, organized life, active social engagement. Testimony from friends and professionals who can attest to your mental sharpness. Documentation that the petitioner has financial motives. Evidence that claims of incompetence are false. In my case, Vanessa claimed I had severe dementia and regularly got lost. I proved those were lies with Dr. Thompson's evaluation, my organized life, and evidence that her missing person report was fraudulent. The judge denied her petition completely. Know your rights. Conservatorship is not automatic. You can fight it and win. Third, I learned how to document competence and protect your independence proactively, and why prevention is easier than fighting conservatorship later. After everything happened, Raymond and I put comprehensive protections in place. If I'd done some of these things earlier, Vanessa might never have tried her scheme. Here's how to protect yourself. Get annual competency evaluations as you age. Work with a neuropsychologist to document your cognitive function yearly. If anyone ever claims you're incompetent, you'll have recent proof otherwise. Create advance directives carefully. Specify exactly who makes medical decisions if you become unable to. Make sure it's someone you trust absolutely, not someone who might exploit you. Create limited powers of attorney only if needed. Don't give someone general power of attorney unless absolutely necessary. If you need help with specific tasks, create limited powers for those tasks only. Keep your legal documents with your attorney, not where family can access them easily. This prevents forgery or unauthorized changes. Maintain detailed records of your independent functioning. Organized finances, active calendar, clear communication. This creates a paper trail proving competence. Stay socially connected. Isolation makes exploitation easier. Maintain relationships with multiple people who can vouch for your mental sharpness. Consider filing a deed alert on your property. This means any attempts to file documents affecting your property require direct verification from you. Explicitly exclude exploitative family members from your will and powers of attorney. Make it clear this is intentional, not an oversight. Regular communication with trusted family members. Set up check-ins so someone reliable knows you're okay. If you suspect someone is planning to file for conservatorship, act preemptively. Get evaluated. Gather evidence. Consult an attorney before papers are filed. These protections take time and effort, but they're much easier than fighting false conservatorship claims after the fact. For comprehensive resources about conservatorship abuse, elder rights, and legal protections, see the information below. Choose documentation over assumption. Choose legal protection over hoping family will do right. Choose maintaining your rights over passively accepting exploitation. Because I'm standing here today at 78, still independent, still sharp, still in control of my own life, only because I fought back immediately. Because I documented my competence. Because I refused to be a victim. Vanessa thought I was too old to notice her scheme. Thought I was too weak to fight back. Thought she could file some papers and take control of my life. She was wrong about all of it. And she spent 4 years in prison learning exactly how wrong. I'm Diane Foster. And I'm still here. Independent. Autonomous. Free. Because being elderly doesn't mean being powerless. And family doesn't get to steal your life just because they think you won't notice. Thank you for listening. If this helps even one person protect themselves from conservatorship abuse, then sharing my story was worth it.